listening to Fountain of Thought with your host, Dennis Fountain. One small step for man, one giant leap for America. Today's special guest star, Sonny Rain.
Welcome, everyone, to Fountain of Thought with special guest star Sonny Rain. How you doing today, Sonny?
Yep. Another show.
You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Fountain of Thought. Tweet us at TalkFOT or send us an email, talkfot@gmail.com. Sonny, it's time for what?
The disclaimer.
The disclaimer.
This show contains adult themes and language. Listener discretion is advised.
All right, so listener discretion is advised, and you know what? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but not really, because I'm going to tell you all the secrets of Vegas right now.
In 30 seconds or less.
So my first trip to Vegas, and it's not that I don't recommend it. I do recommend it. It's interesting. It's not what I thought it would be. We went to Fremont Street, which is where Vegas originated. You know, it's like they call it the old Vegas. And it reminded me a bit of Mardi Gras. It's this whole section of street, and it's outside, but it's covered. It's kind of hard to explain, but there's this huge alleyway the size of a street, and it's covered. So there's a covering over that, but it's out in the elements. And there's all kinds of like acts that are performing on the side of the road. Girls in bikinis and nurses with Band-Aids for nipples, and it was yes, it was a little weird. Some rock bands, and I have come to the conclusion that that's where the 70s and 80s went to die, Las Vegas, because retro stuff is huge out there. Adam Ant is playing, and all of these old bands from the 70s and 80s, they're all in Vegas. So I guess that kind of goes maybe to where it should be, because I guess if you look at the people that are going, hey, that's the age group that they're entertaining, I guess. But Fremont Street, like I said, a little interesting. Maybe if you're 18 years old and you want to go out and get some, whatever, that's the place to go.
Some sex?
Maybe.
Are you talking about sex?
No, never. Not on this show. We did see a couple of roving billboards. They're billboards that drive by and with a phone number, and it says "Girls, right to your room." I'm assuming they're going to help you learn how to play poker or something.
Well, what else would they be doing?
That's what I figured. Yeah,
it's a gambling town,
right? Yeah, so they're there to teach you how to play poker.
Absolutely.
Yes, one-eyed Jack.
Liquor in the front, poker in the rear.
Yes. So the casinos were okay, and you find that on the Vegas Strip, where all the the big casinos are, was nice. It was clean. It was nice. Smoking everywhere though, which was unusual to me. I haven't been in a restaurant or a place like that where smoking, and maybe it's just because I'm stuck here in the Northeast, but smoking is not very prevalent here, and they don't let you do it anywhere. And over there, it's everywhere. It's in all the casinos. It's on all the restaurants. You can do it everywhere. So that was a bit, taking back. But we did the typical attractions that were over there, and like I said, it's okay for me, anyways. It was okay. Other people might get some more out of it. We didn't lose a whole lot, but we did lose some gambling. But the highlight of my tour, you will never guess what my favorite thing was. It wasn't really Vegas. We had to travel 45 minutes away, so there's a hint. What do you think it was?
You had to travel 45 minutes?
We rented a car, and we drove 45 minutes away to go visit this place.
South?
Don't ask me which direction. I don't know. GPS took us.
That geyser thing?
No.
Or the big hole in the earth there.
The big hole, the Grand Canyon? We did see the Grand Canyon. That's longer than 45 minutes. So we took a helicopter tour of the Grand Canyon.
Oh, that's cool.
But even that wasn't, it was nice. It was picturesque. It's like, that is equivalent to like the first snowstorm we get in New England where all the trees are covered and it looks beautiful, or maybe a nice fall foliage day. That's what it's equivalent to. It's very pretty, but, it's pretty. Hoover Dam.
Oh, yeah.
Hoover Dam, which originally was Boulder Dam, was incredible. I would recommend that for anyone. What a marvel that is. Built in 1931, And it's amazing. We could barely drive automobiles in 1931, and what they did over there, that's absolutely incredible. It's built out of blocks. They built these cement blocks, and they were ingenious in building this. I'm not a contractor. Listen, I can barely draw a straight line on a piece of paper, so I don't know anything. But in all these cement blocks that they built, they had to put refrigeration through it, because if they didn't, the cement would still be drying. It would take over 100 years for it to dry. I found that incredible. You don't find that amazing? So it's the bottom of it is 2 football fields long.
Wow,
that's deep. I mean, not the width. The deep of it, it's 2 football fields, and incredible ingenuity that went through that. So they ended up putting they used the water from Lake Mead and filled that in, and it's just incredible. We went inside. We took the tour of it. We went to the power plant. I would highly recommend that to everyone, not only for an engineering marvel that it is, but just part of history and what went on. 96 people died in building the dam, and people talk about, oh, well, there's people buried in the cement, and that's not true. And I knew that wasn't true, but you know why they know that no one is buried in that cement?
At Hoover Dam?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, what would happen if somebody was buried in there? What would happen to their body?
It would liquefy.
It would decompose, exactly,
Yeah.
and then that would become structural instability into the cement. It wouldn't work anymore. It wouldn't hold up. So, yeah, there were people that they did say that they had to fish him out of the cement. One guy, they said it took 2.5 hours to get him out of the. He was dead, but it took him 2.5 hours to retrieve him from the cement. But yeah, everyone is out.
They say that people fell into the Quabbin when they were building that too.
Yeah. Yeah. There's another. We should talk about that too someday. We should do a whole thing on the Quabbin, because I know that locally here people know around it, but around the country, I doubt no one knows about what actually happened for that. That would be a good topic for show.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, let us know any topics you might want to hear. Let us know. Send us an email or whatever, and let us know what future topics you might. We've got a list, but we'd love to hear from you. So, anyways, yeah, Vegas was okay. Hoover Dam, loved it, absolutely loved it. Recommended it to anyone. Also, we went and saw Matt Franco, the magician, and he was a winner of AGT. And we're going to talk about that in a future show, because Sonny hates reality TV, right, Sonny?
Ugh.
So
it's no, it's not that I hate reality TV. It's when the very first episode, when they first ran the first season of Survivor, those people that were on that island didn't know what to expect when it was going to be over.
True.
So they acted themselves. They were true to their own person, their own personalities. But once you get into not episode, but once you got into season 3, they knew that it was more important to get on there and develop some kind of a character for yourself, so you could look for future movie gigs. And it's not reality anymore. It's just a bunch of clowns acting, and I just don't buy it.
Their 15 minutes of fame.
Like I said, I don't get it, because that very first season of Survivor was very good.
All right. Well, that's a topic we're going to have. We're going to talk about reality TV shows, because that's something that's got me going too. All right. So, special episode today, very near and dear to our. One more thing.
Yeah, about Grand Canyon.
Yes.
You said it wasn't that impressive?
No, I don't want to say it wasn't. It wasn't. Trust me. I was there. I was up there. And I was going, wow. Oh my God. I mean, it was impressive. In fact, every picture that we took, every single picture looks like it could be a postcard. I mean, that's how beautiful it is. And I was talking to the pilot. John was his name, and he was a pilot since 1963. He was in the war, Vietnam, Korea, all of them. And I says, dude, you fly this, back and forth 2-3 times a day. Does this ever get tired to you? And he says, sometimes. He says, sometimes it's just a job. He says other times, it's spectacular. And it is. And that's what I was wondering. If you look at this beauty every single day, does it not become beautiful anymore? But like I said, every single picture we took is like a postcard. I mean, it's beautiful.
Did they have it specifically marked out where Evel Knievel jumped?
No, they did not.
They
at
didn't, really?
least not where I saw it. No, no. We took a helicopter tour, and we landed at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. which I guess very few people do because you have to either take a helicopter or you have to take one of those week-long trips to go down it. So we got the quick route. We just landed at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, and it's amazing. The Colorado River ripping through there it's amazing. But I don't know. I just found the Hoover Dam much more interesting.
Do you remember the episode of the Flintstones where they go out? They're in Nevada and Barney and Fred are standing. They're looking at this little tiny stream on the ground. Like, they're like, "This is the Grand Canyon."
Yeah.
Not so impressive. Well, I hear someday it's going to be really huge.
No, all I kept thinking about was the Brady Bunch. Remember that?
Oh, God.
That's all I could think about was the Brady Bunch episode.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, so today's episode is near and dear to us, especially to Sonny because he is truly a fan.
Rain. Sonny Rain.
Is that you?
James Bond. My God, I can't believe how many years it's been. First time I ever saw him was at the Casino Theater here in Ware. And the very first movie I saw was The Man with the Golden Gun. And I was so impressed by that movie. I immediately fell in love with the character. So many actors have played the role.
How many? I know you know.
Yeah.
Sonny knows all of this, so I know he knows.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8. George Lazenby was
on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah.
Only one movie.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'll just give you a little rundown if you're not familiar with it. The very first Bond was Barry Nelson back in 1955, I believe. 1954. It was a movie made for CBS. They bought the rights for $1,000 from Ian Fleming, and it was called Casino Royale. That was the very first Bond. Nothing took place after that until 1962 when the very first movie came out, Dr. No. It starred Sean Connery, who, hands down, is the best Bond ever.
I agree.
I mean, it's hard to watch some of the older movies because there's not as much action and eye candy and stuff like it is today, but if you could somehow bring him to the future and put him in the movie today.
Well, what did you? It's still like what 25 years ago, but Never Say Never. No, what was it? Never Say Never. Which when he came back?
Well, I'm getting to that. So,
I'm sorry. Am I jumping ahead?
You're jumping ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So Connery, he started off with Dr. No, and it was a big success. So the very next year, they put out From Russia with Love. He came back for Goldfinger.
That's my favorite. Goldfinger.
Then he starred in Thunderball, and his fifth and final one was You Only Live Twice, or so he said it was his final one. That's when he hung up the Bond tuxedo, and that's when they found George Lazenby. George Lazenby came in, and it was a bomb. It was a disaster. The people hated it. They begged Connery to come back, and he did. He agreed to one more motion picture, Diamonds Are Forever. And then he again said that was it. I'm never going to play Bond again. So, never. At the time, The Saint was doing very well on TV, and like Roger Moore caught the eye of the producers, Harry Saltzman and Albert Broccoli. And he was hired to come in as the second James Bond, and he starred in Live and Let Die. Matter of fact, he holds the record for the Bond franchise of having 7 movies. 7 movies made by the official people.
Which we'll get into later, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So he started in Live and Let Die, The Man with the Golden Gun, The Spy Who Loved Me, Moonraker, For Your Eyes Only, Octopussy, and A View to a Kill.
Yeah.
And finally, he had to hang it up. By the time we got to A View to a Kill, it was, oh my God, he looked like he was in a nursing home. No offense, Roger, but it just wasn't.
It's like
anymore.
watching Shatner and Nimoy in Star Trek.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, you watch that movie now, you see some scenes in it, you're like, my God, does he look old?
Yeah.
And there he is making out with these supermodels.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
No. So after him, they went after Pierce Brosnan. They wanted him in the worst way. Unfortunately, he was doing a successful TV show called Remington Steele.
Love the TV show, and he is my second favorite Bond of all time.
And Remington Steele would not let him out of his contract and would not allow him to do
NBC.
it. So they went after Timothy Dalton, who starred in 2 motion pictures, which were The Living Daylights.
Yeah.
And then they followed it up with License to Kill. And License to Kill was kind of an offbeat Bond because he basically quit the service and went on a revenge
Solo.
Yeah, he went on a revenge solo against a drug lord, and it's a very interesting movie. I liked it, but it was not a typical Bond. By that point, the franchise wasn't doing well, and they put a big hold on it for quite some years. I think it was 7 years before the next one came out after that. Yeah, not till 1995. Like 89 was License to Kill. It wasn't until 95 that finally they were able to land Pierce Brosnan in the role, and GoldenEye came out, and he went on to star in 3 more after that. Tomorrow Never Dies, The World Is Not Enough, and To Die Another Day. And then again, they decided to reboot the character, and they have gone in the direction of Daniel Craig.
Remember where you're going. I just want to say that I loved that theme song, Die Another Day from Madonna.
Really?
I know. Everybody hated it. I loved it. Are you going to talk about the theme songs too? Is that part of your...
Yeah, we can, but... Really?
Yeah, I did. I don't know.
She shouldn't even have been in there. She's not English.
I know, but I loved it, and that was one of my favorite, and I know you're going to hate it, that was one of my favorite openings, because it showed the whole transition of what he was going through, and I liked it. That was one of my favorites. It really was. Yeah. Madonna? Oh, yeah, God. I did. Yeah.
Out of all of them.
Was it one of my favorites? Yes, out of all of them, it was one of my favorites. Not the favorite, but I did like it. And I know you hate it. I know we've had this discussion, but I liked it. I thought it was good. I really did.
Well, anyway, so hold my thought. Daniel Craig is our new Bond. He's completed 4 pictures so far. I
thought he's done.
No, they're still hemming and hawing about it. He signed. I guess apparently the latest news is he signed some show he's got to do, and it's going to be 20 episodes long, which means it's going to have to postpone the next Bond film. They didn't really want to postpone it. They wanted to keep it on track, but they're willing to postpone it because
to keep him
because what they said is, frankly, it's a pain in the ass to recast. I don't know. I still can't warm up to him. I mean, not Daniel Craig personally, but he just doesn't.
He's a brute.
I'm talking just looks.
It's a brute. It's a brute look, and to me that's not Bond. It's a very brutish look. I don't know. He's got that, you just want to slap him. I mean, he's got that look that I don't like. He's one of my least favorites. I just don't like him. None of those are really my favorite movies either.
George Lazenby, I would watch over Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
I put him at last on my list.
Yeah.
And again, not Daniel Craig, the actor. I mean, right. I like him, but
the way they portray way he portrays Bond in that role, the character, what they've done with it, I don't like it. It didn't go. To me, that wasn't Bond.
And I was so pissed off when they came out with Casino Royale. They immediately got rid of the opening scene where he walks out and firing the gun and the blood comes down. Yeah. That was done away with. Yeah. They finally brought it back this 4th film after people have been bitching about it. But those first 2 movies were very hard to understand, very hard to follow.
Yeah.
Quantum of Solace, to this day, I still don't know what the hell that movie's about.
Now, and somewhere along this line, MGM played a big part of this because MGM went bankrupt.
Yeah.
And I know this because of Stargate, that there was a big problem that stopped the Stargate movies and the James Bond movies because it was in limbo, and people wanted to buy just the James Bond franchise, and they wanted to buy just the Stargate, and whoever was taking care of the litigation said, no, you have to buy it all. And the reason they said that is because people were just going to pick and choose, and then their creditors wouldn't get paid. But I know that held up James Bond production for quite some time because MGM went into bankruptcy.
But getting back to what you were saying, you thought he was done. Well, yeah, he was quoted to say, I would rather cut my wrist than play James Bond again. But the official story is he still has 1 film left on his contract.
Oh, he does? I didn't know that.
That's what I read this morning. So
I didn't know that.
But just for fun, let's say he's going to be Let's say he is done.
Yeah.
Okay. Who would be your front runner for a new James Bond replacement?
I don't know. Don't have one at the top of my head. I don't know. I know you like somebody, didn't you?
I got a couple people I really like. One would be, but he's not English. That's the thing. Is the guy that starred in?
Doesn't have to be English.
Well, the guy that starred in Point of Interest. Not Point of Interest. Oh, what's the name of that show?
Person of Interest.
Yes.
You know what? I could see him doing that.
Just the way he carried himself in that.
I could see him doing that role.
You could see Bond all over him.
Yeah.
That would be one. Another one would be Clive Owen. I think he would make an excellent Bond. He's got that rugged look. And believe it or not, and I know you're going to disagree with me on this, but a gentleman there, he's African-American, believe it or not. He was in Pacific Rim, and I think they pronounce it Idris Elba.
Yes.
I've watched the way he carries himself.
Well, he's in a lot of Marvel stuff. He's in a lot of those superhero movies.
But he just, I think if they wanted to cast an African-American in the role of James Bond, I think he could pull it off. I really do.
I agree. I think he could pull it off, and this is where we're probably going to get some letters. I say no, because he's African-American.
Well, because you want to go by the original character as it was written by Ian Fleming.
I get
your point, but the point is, in an ever-changing world.
Yeah, but that's not James Bond, and it has nothing to do with because he's black, white, purple, green, yellow. It has to do with who the character is, and a perfect example is the remake of Battlestar Galactica. You don't take Starbuck and Apollo that were best friends and make one of them a girl. All of a sudden, now you take a main character and Starbuck is now a girl. That just doesn't work.
I agree.
There are other things, trust me, but we could do a whole episode on Battlestar Galactica and how they ruined that. In my opinion, ruined it. It was good science fiction. It was good, but it wasn't Battlestar Galactica. But my point of it is that that's who the character is. I've seen them change Fantastic Four. They made and I can't remember his name, but Firestorm there, not.
Oh, Johnny.
Yeah. They turned his character black, and it was okay. I don't know.
I didn't have a problem with it.
See, and I know what you're saying is they're saying that okay, well, if that's the case, then there would be no African Americans in any television or movies because it wasn't written that way back then. And yeah, I kind of see that, but
I just look at
I don't know. I look at traditionalists. That's the way I'm looking at it.
I'm just looking at an actor that can carry himself as the way I like to see Bond carried. Like, I don't like the way Craig handles Bond. He's just like you said. He's a thug.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work for me. You got to have that combination of arrogance and self-assured, and you got to wear the tuxedo the right way.
Yeah.
It's just.
I might be willing to accept that, and if I think back about it, let's take the character M. I didn't mind that she was a girl.
Yeah,
I thought Judi Dench did a fantastic job.
Absolutely,
I thought she was wonderful in that role. And then who could be who I thought could be James Bond is, and I don't know his name. I didn't research it, but those years, the black guy who was his friend, the other agent there, who was
Felix Leiter.
Is that who it was?
That was the character.
Yeah, he could be a James Bond. He's got that suave, debonair.
Which one? Felix Leiter's been played by so many different actors.
I don't know. The one in the latest one with Judi Dench, that era, Pierce Brosnan era, when he was the black guy.
Oh yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could carry
Navy
it.
guy or whatever. Yeah, he could carry that. So yeah, I could. I could maybe see that. I could possibly go that route. Yeah.
Other front runners they're talking are Tom Hardy. I don't think so. And Henry Cavill, our new Superman.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely not. I don't even really like him in Superman, to be honest with you.
Tom Hiddleston.
Who's that?
The Avengers, Loki.
Oh no, he's another one that you probably want to slap. No, he's like short too, isn't he? And he seems short. Yeah, no.
They'll let him wear his horns.
Yeah.
Eddie Redmayne.
Oh, no, I can't see him doing that either. There's another one. He's short, and I can't see him. I love him as an actor. I think he's done fantastic, but no, I can't see him. Really? He's in the running for James Bond.
These are the people they're considering.
Really?
Yeah. Of course, they didn't go after real true talent, as far as I'm concerned. I would go after Jonah Hill myself. Because Jonah Hill can play anything.
That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, again, they would much prefer to bring Craig back, but well, just keep posted on that.
So there is one more in his contract.
It's supposed to be one more in his contract,
and he's making a TV series or something. It's 20 if it's 20 episodes, it's got to be
it was something for TV season. And the schedule. They're going to be starting filming now. Yeah, it's like I said, 20-part episode of something. I glanced at it real quick yesterday, and it's going to be a busy shooting schedule, so he's not going to be able to do both at the same time. But they said they are willing to wait till he completes that.
But in the meantime, just in case they're looking.
Well, because it's like, again, his threat was that he'd either cut his wrist.
If he's on contract, then too bad.
Well, they might
screw you.
Maybe he has an opt-out of the contract, too, or a buyout clause.
Is there a script? Is there? Do we know which one it is?
No, nothing yet.
No,
nothing yet.
And now, if I recollect correctly, at the end of every James Bond, all it says now is James Bond will return. Correct?
Yes, because they stopped that back in the. They stopped that back in the. I think it was Timothy Dalton was probably the last one they started doing that because they changed their minds.
Right.
And it first happened when they had put out The Spy Who Loved Me, and The Spy Who Loved Me did very well. And at the end of that, it says Bond will return in For Your Eyes Only.
Yeah.
Well, that's when Star Wars came out the year after, and science fiction was just going kaboom.
Yeah.
So that's when they decided to make that joke Moonraker.
Yeah, that was the worst. That has to be the worst one ever.
I mean, story-wise, that was just and you know what? All it was they took the exact script from The Spy Who Loved Me and just changed it to space.
Yeah, to space. Yeah,
you're both your villains were identical. They both were megalomaniacs that wanted to destroy the world and start over. And well, they also ran out of the titles from Ian Fleming's books. The last one was The Living Daylights.
How many books has he written? So he's written less books than there have been Bond films.
Oh,
is that
yeah. Living Daylights and Octopussy were both short stories that were the last two that they used. But it turns out, I guess they found there's a book that came out in 2015, and I guess it was found amongst Ian Fleming's stuff that he had started this book and he never finished it.
Yeah.
So another author took it and finished it up for him, and it's called Trigger Mortis.
Trigger Mortis.
Yeah, Trigger Mortis, and it was published in 2015. So there's a possibility where your next title could be. Who knows? But let's talk about the music.
Okay, let's talk about the music.
Okay, what did you want to know?
Well, no, I'm just saying that what's your favorite Bond theme, I guess?
My favorite Bond theme I'm going to have to say is For Your Eyes Only by Sheena Easton.
Well, is that because it really is your favorite or because you're a Sheena E fan? I mean, or is it a combination of both?
Probably a combination of both, but I really liked the song.
Yeah.
And I really liked her.
Yeah.
Another top favorite would be A View to a Kill.
Yeah.
Live and Let Die.
Yeah.
I love that song. Nobody Does It Better. That was pretty good.
Than me.
Yeah. Well, everybody knows that.
Right.
And I liked the Aha's Living Daylights.
Yeah.
I like that one.
If I had to pick a favorite, and I don't know if it because there's so many factors involved. I don't know if it actually has to do with because the movie is my favorite, but I love Goldmember.
Goldmember?
Yeah, Goldmember. From Austin Powers, Goldmember?
You're for real.
No, I'm kidding. No. Although I did think that those were kind of funny.
Oh, yeah. Those were hilarious.
No, Goldfinger is, I don't know.
That's your favorite film?
That's my favorite film.
Really?
Goldfinger is my favorite, and I don't know why. I don't know if that happens to be I don't remember when my first James Bond movie was. I do remember it was sometime in the 80s. I'm going to say 82. What came out around there? 82. What was
Your Eyes Only.
All right, maybe that was the one. It was playing in the movie theater. I was in Worcester, and I wanted to go see it, and my aunt wouldn't let me because she said it was rated R. And I said, no, it's not. James Bond's not rated R. It's PG. She goes, that's a disgusting movie. You can't go see that. It's inappropriate. And I couldn't go see it. I had to go see something else. So I remember wanting to go see that. But what my actual first James Bond film that I saw, I don't remember. It was probably something that I saw broadcast on television.
1982, that would have placed you at about, what, 16?
Yeah.
And your aunt wouldn't let you go see a movie?
No.
Wow.
She would not let me go.
Wow.
Yeah, she would not let me go. She said it was inappropriate.
Iron Fist Matilda.
And, well, I think it's because you have this idea of what James Bond is, and most of it is innuendo. It's not, I mean, there's not naked ladies roaming around on James Bond films.
Well, there was some controversy with both For Your Eyes Only and Octopussy. Octopussy, obviously,
Yes. Yeah.
the controversy was just the name itself. Yeah. But when For Your Eyes Only came out, the original promo shot, they shot James Bond in the background between the legs,
right? Yeah,
her holding her crossbow down.
Yeah,
but it was almost like a G-string coming down, and the newspapers banned it immediately and said you're going to have to.
And, well, that's probably why I couldn't go see it.
You're going to have to cover more cheeks because that's not going to be in our paper.
Yeah.
So that did probably frighten a lot of the the parents back in that day. But
yeah, but I was at my aunt's house and I wanted to go see it, and she wouldn't let me.
Wow.
Yeah. But my guess is that my first James Bond experience was probably on television in some movie, and I guess it was probably a Sean Connery era. That would be my guess because it was on TV.
I used to go down to remember back in the day, Eastfield Mall, when they had just those two theaters.
Yeah,
was it
Palace.
Sac Palace?
Yeah, Palace. Yeah,
yeah. They used to on Saturday afternoons. They used to run the James Bond double feature, and you could go down and see two of them.
That was
my admission.
Funny story. That was my first R-rated movie that I got kicked out of. I went to see, The Thing. What Adrienne Barbeau was in it.
The Fog.
The Fog. That's it. Yes, Adrienne Barbeau in The Fog, and I went to see that with Peter. And we got kicked. In fact, back then they were going to call our parents and everything. That's how bad it was. We're going to call your parents. They're going to come down and kick you. But yeah, we got kicked out of that one because it was rated R. The Fog.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you look back at those movies now, and by
there's
today's
nothing.
standard, yeah.
What was I watching? I was watching Logan's Run. I watched Logan's Run, which was PG, and there's nudity, there's toplessness in that whole movie.
And it's PG?
It's PG.
No kidding.
Yeah. Logan's Run. And the girl Jessica that Logan was running with, she takes her top off several times in that film.
God bless her heart.
It's not like pronounced, but I mean, obviously you can see it. And then this whole scene, if you remember this one whole scene, they're running through this love whatever. I forget what they called it, but it's like this love shack, and it's all slow-mo and really psychedelic colors, and they're running through it, and everybody's naked making love in this whole whatever this thing in there. And Logan he's a runner, and he's running with Jessica, and he's being chased. And this is also funny that I thought the guy who's chasing him, I didn't put two and two together until I just rewatched it, is the old guy from Secret of My Success with Michael J. Fox. Mm-hmm. And remember what was his name? You're a huge fan. You might remember his name, but remember, he was running the company for his wife's company. Remember, Prescott. That was his Prescott. That was his name.
Yeah,
right?
He was the bad guy.
Yeah, Prescott.
Yeah.
He's Logan's best friend in Logan's Run.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, I digress. But yeah, it was PG, and there was lots of
I have a question for you.
Yes.
What the fuck does this have to do with James Bond?
Well, we started talking about nudity
See
and
how
James
you are?
Bond.
All you do is talk about nudity, and your brain goes somewhere else.
Brain goes. Well, it's
Anyway.
it's all relevant.
Where were we on James Bond?
We were talking about music originally. What was your favorite?
Right,
and I was trying to remember which first. And I said maybe it's because that's the first one that I saw. I just don't remember. But I did like Madonna's version. I know you hated it, and I liked it. And I did like the whole opening. I thought it was the first time that we actually saw a little bit of what the character James Bond goes through. That whole opening credit of him being
interrogated by the North Koreans.
Yeah, I thought it was moving. I did. I thought it was a powerful part of James Bond. Yeah.
There's been only there was only two movies The very first two didn't have opening titles. Dr. No used the James Bond theme itself. And then From Russia with Love had an instrumental, and they didn't play the vocal version until the end of the movie. It became a staple with Goldfinger. That's when it became a tradition after that. And, of course, that was Shirley Bassey.
Yeah.
And she actually did 3 songs for the franchise. And Tom Jones did Thunderball, and Nancy Sinatra did You Only Live Twice. Oh, I'm sorry. There was another one. On Your Majesty's Secret Service. No theme song. It was just an instrumental. I forgot about that one, too.
But that's the whole part of the James Bond, I don't know what you call it, effect or whatever, is that opening sequence.
That's why I hated Casino Royale, because that's the first thing you want to see is that little opening mission.
Yeah.
Of
it's
whatever.
always action-packed. Yeah. Always something really
cool.
out of the box. Yeah.
And then it ends with him
Yeah.
falling in some girl's arms
or something.
Something, really Bond-like.
Yeah.
And then we go into that song, and you look forward every time to see, how good is the James Bond song?
Yeah, well, it's part of the movie. It's a whole experience in itself, right. I think. Yeah.
So then the daughter comes along, and she decides, oh, no, we're going to do it this way.
Yeah.
I like that kick her right in her ass.
I think what they were trying to do, I think they're trying to modernize it to make it, because, listen, if you're not changing, you're dying, but you have to keep elements of your original somewhere, or it's just not a James Bond film. And I think they took it too far. I think it went too far. Is, in my opinion, what I think happened.
Yeah, well, you got to keep a certain framework of the way things are supposed to be. If you want to change it up a bit,
all right,
fine.
Go back to Sean Connery days and the gadgets, and then go to the Roger Moore era with the gadgets and the comedy. They went in one direction too far, in my opinion.
Oh, Roger Moore, he made it very campy.
It was very campy, yeah.
But at the time, that was the time of the 70s and the 80s. That's what the people were looking for. They wanted that, that humor and that kind of stuff. But it was always, Bond was about gadgets. Gadgets,
absolutely,
gadgets. And girls.
Q.
And, Q was a big part of it.
Huge. Yeah, I'm sad when he was no longer.
Oh, man, me too. But then they brought in
John Cleese.
John Cleese. And
I thought he did a great job, didn't he?
This was going to be wonderful.
Yeah, and
next
then he's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah.
One movie, that's it.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
And then we go into, again,
little kid.
Casino Royale. There was no gadgets.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, what is this? You got to have gadgets.
That's what Bond is. Yeah, yeah. Bond, it's the suave debonair, espionage, gadgets, and tongue-in-cheek humor.
Yeah.
That's
not over the top.
Right. That's essence of Bond.
Hi, my name is Plenty. Well, of course you are.
Yeah.
Stuff like that was fun.
Right.
But you don't want to get overdoing it.
Right.
And you got to have interesting villains and stuff. That's why I really did like Jaws. Mm-hmm. I thought he was a great henchman.
Yeah.
And Sheriff Pepper. Remember Sheriff Pepper from Live and Let Die and The Man with the Golden Gun?
Yes.
The Southern Sheriff.
Yeah.
He was hilarious.
Yeah. No, Chop. What was the guy who threw the hat?
Odd Job.
Yes, Odd Job. I liked him.
Yeah, you gotta have interesting villains. Too, And there was a couple of them. The villains were like, "Oh, come on, please! I could have kicked his ass."
Yeah.
In the shape I'm in now.
Yeah.
But I grew up on Bond. I loved it, and I'm not very happy right now with the way it's going. But I keep watching.
Well, it's going the way, and again, this could be a whole other show, but it's going in the same way of which television is going. Some of these new TV series I come to watch, and I'll start watching them, and then I'll give them, 3 or 4, 6 episodes or something, and I'll just forget it. Because it's very soap opera-y. There's story behind story behind story behind story behind story. And I'm going, this is ridiculous. I'll turn on the show and go, all right, remind me what happened? Because they're so in-depth they're just taking it to this level where it's character upon character upon character upon character. It's too much.
No.
It's too much. And then I'll harken back, and I've said this to you before, and listen, I agree some of the things you can't compare, but I'll harken back to like an episode of The $6 Million Man. I'll turn it on, and then it's boom, the episode, the title starts, The $6 Million Man. They show you the theme, it starts, and then boom, it's right into it, and it plays. And you can watch each episode on itself and be happy with it
Yeah,
and
it
not
doesn't-
worry about an arc of the storyline going
Right.
on.
It doesn't play off like a soap opera.
Yeah, there can be. I don't mind, some background. I think that's cool. I think we can do some type of arc thing where the storyline continues in some manner. But Walking Dead is one. The Walking Dead is
You
gone.
can't just turn an episode on a Walking Dead and just catch it in the middle of a season. It's pointless.
Right, exactly.
That is like one big, long, huge movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, but that's designed for the fans are going to follow,
Right.
day in and day
but
out.
You can't. You got to be careful when you're doing this. And I like The Walking Dead and I watch it. Breaking Bad, I know you don't watch it. I've watched that one. That's another one. They all have these arcs, but they do it okay. Some of these things, like we talked about, the tattoo there one.
Blind Spot.
Yeah, Blind Spot. I've stopped watching that. It's just so much. It's this and to that. If they would just take the simple, here's the tattoo, the episode of the week, let's figure out what this is and leave it at that. But no, they got to throw all of this understory into it, and I think that's what's happened to James Bond. They've tried to throw all of this understory into it to build on layers upon layer upon layer, and for me, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan either. I mean, these last 4 films are the first 4 that I only seen once.
Yeah.
I used to watch them over and over again. Not anymore.
I know. I'm not saying that they got to dumb it down because I don't. I want it to be intelligent. I like movies that make you think, and I hate movies that they're showing a shot of Hong Kong and you can clearly tell it's Hong Kong, but they put at the bottom Hong Kong, in a title. Don't tell me that. Don't let me. If the viewer is too stupid to figure it out, then you know what? The viewer's too stupid to figure it out. I don't like that when they do certain things like that. That bothers me.
But you've always hated that.
I always hate that.
Or when they sit and tell you, this happened 6 days ago.
Oh, I hate those.
Or meanwhile over here.
Yeah. Well, or they'll do 24-hour previously, and no, to me that's just poor storytelling. Somebody doesn't know how to write it the way it is, so they backtrack it some way. To me, that's what it is. It's poor writing. But
well, in wrapping this part of the show up, I'm going to say this.
Okay.
I think they need to recast. I really do. They need to go back to some of the roots of Bond. Get him back to the way it used to be. Get some more gadgets in there, and give me somebody that's going to carry the character.
So, on your list of possible potentials, who's your favorite?
It's a toss-up between Clive Owen and that guy.
Person of interest.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to go. I'm going to go for the person of interest guy.
He's the guy
Yeah.
I really think would be great at it.
Yeah.
He just carried himself in that show, just like him.
Yeah, he could do a good job.
Yeah, and well, providing he doesn't talk like this.
He was in Escape. Did you see that movie Escape with Arnold Schwarzenegger? And
Yeah, I remember him being in it.
yeah, he was the warden.
Was he?
Yeah, he was the warden. Yeah.
He was also he also portrayed Jesus Christ there in Mel
Oh,
Gibson's
did?
movie.
Oh, Passion of the Christ there?
Yeah,
Really, was he?
That was him.
Yeah. I'd have to rewatch that one. Yeah.
He's very multi-talented actor.
Yeah, I think he can do well.
And,
Yeah.
and I don't think he's doing anything right now. I don't know why he's never even on the list. Nobody even brings him up. Well, we'll table this for now and get back to you in a future show because there's a lot happening in the world of James Bond. And if you're a fan, thanks for listening. If you're not a fan, I'm sorry I bored you all this time.
Yeah, they've tuned off and they've gone into some other podcast. They're on the Walking Dead podcast right now.
We're all by ourselves right now.
There's nobody listening right now. It's just us. All right, Sonny, great job on that, and I'm looking forward to part 2 of James Bond.
Yeah.
All right, I'm dying of thirst here, so I'm going to go quench my thirst off of the tears of some more liberals.
So, Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What?
No!
Yep, and my dorky dad hat, and I'm going to do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up.
See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time.
What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
As internet technology advances, so does the threat of cybercrime. And the instant you go online, you become vulnerable to dangers such as identity theft, computer viruses, phishing, spyware, and more. In times like these, we must all protect ourselves from cybercrime. Antivirus software, firewalls, and security patches are just the beginning. Never open suspicious emails, only navigate to trusted sites, and change your passwords every 90 days. Back up important files to external storage devices. Tell anyone who uses your computer to be vigilant when downloading from the internet. Keep your kids safe on the internet. Teach them never to give out personal information or post information about their school or extracurricular activities. Installing parental control software and monitoring their computer are all good ways to prevent cybercrime. To learn more about cybercrime, visit ncpc.org or contact your local law enforcement agency.
Welcome back, everyone. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor of Fountain of Thought, let us know. Drop us an email at talkfot@gmail.com. That last commercial for cybercrime has got me thinking. We went to check out of our hotel, and we had to print our passes for our airplane. We go to the business center in the hotel, and popped up on the computer was some guy's email. He left it open.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was. So and Linda yelled at me because I started reading his emails. And there was an email, I kid you not, an email from one of his banks where he requested a password change, and the login information was all there. I could have got onto his bank account. I don't know what I could have done with it, but it blew my mind. The guy left it wide open. I went there and I went, oh my God, this guy's an idiot.
Wow.
So do be careful.
Interested in your very own shout out? Let us know at facebook.com/Fountain of Thought. On Twitter at TalkFOT. Or email us at talkfot@gmail.com. And you could be rewarded for listening.
Are you rewarded for listening, Sonny?
I'm so rewarded.
So shout-outs go out to Josh at the Desert Club in Vegas and to Shane Beatty from Ware, Massachusetts. Beatty.
And I want to send a special shout-out to Dennis Fountain of Three Rivers.
Don't tell people where I live!
Because he loves his name.
No, I don't. It's the name of the show, you asswipe.
Dennis Fountain.
Dennis Fountain. You know what I forgot to tell you? I have a Hell's Kitchen menu.
Yeah.
And we went to Gordon Ramsay's steak in Las Vegas. And we met Gordon, got his autograph, and, I had an amuse-bouche.
A who?
It's like a...
Say that again?
Amuse-bouche.
It sounds like a disease.
Yeah. It's like an appetizer.
Oh.
Well, it is an appetizer, but a fancy word.
Is this one of those places where they just put like this little piece of
yes.
food on your plate that's about the size of a quarter?
This is what I got. Yeah, we had it's a Hell's Kitchen tasting menu.
But it's a huge plate.
No. But so I had a Scotch egg. You ever had a Scotch egg before?
No, I've had plenty of Scotch.
Well, it's a hard-boiled egg, and they wrap a sausage around it and bread it.
Really?
Yeah, and I've seen it on television a lot, but I've never... Listen, I don't eat fancy, folks. I'm McDonald's, Burger King, whatever. But we had to try this, and it was really good. And then we had an heirloom beet salad, which had pumpernickel soil.
What?
Pumpernickel soil. They took pumpernickel and they
somebody soiled in your food?
Finally grated it and sprinkled that on top. And there was smoked salmon, citrus vinaigrette, and watercress. And it wasn't bad. I didn't eat the salmon, though. That was for Linda. Then we had butternut squash risotto, which was out of this world. Absolutely phenomenal. Loved every bit of it. They put this tomato marmalade on top of it, which was really good. Then we had roasted beef Wellington, and I've always wanted to try beef Wellington. I never have before. You know what that is? It's a filet mignon.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And then they wrap it. Yeah. Oh, it was really good. And then for dessert, we had this sticky toffee pudding, which was a sweet date pudding cake, brown sugar toffee, and butter brown ice cream. And that was probably the best dessert I've ever had. And in fact, probably the best meal I've ever had in my entire life.
And what did that cost?
That's what I was getting at. This whole meal, and I brought this as proof. The whole meal was $500.
Are you serious?
Yes.
You guys blew $500 on dinner?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that includes the drinks and the tip and everything. But yeah, it was.
Wow.
It was. We hemmed and we hawed, but you know, we didn't go anywhere else fancy for dinner. That was our one fancy night out, and the rest of it was In-N-Out Burger.
I should hope so. Enough to make our show bankrupt.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. But I wanted to do it. I wanted to, you know.
Well, you got to try things.
I wanted to do something, you know, whatever. So plus, it went on a credit card. So.
What's another plastic bill?
That's right. Okay, so I don't know whether this is your favorite part of the show or your worst favorite part of the show.
The moment you've been waiting for is finally here. Yes, true or false headlines.
All right, so you know you're not doing too well with the true or false. You know you can't sleep through it. It's not going to happen. All right, Sonny, true or false? Police arrest mother of 3 for prostituting her 13-year-old son. True or false?
Oh, God, I hope that's false.
Yeah, right. That's false. Yes. Oh. Man with shopping cart of deer carcasses ejected from Walmart.
From Walmart?
Yes.
Oh, that's definitely true.
You are right.
All you had to say was Walmart. And anything goes in that place.
Short Pump, Virginia. Have you ever heard of that? Short Pump?
No.
That's the name of the Short Pump, Virginia. A mother and daughter got quite a surprise when they walked into a Walmart Tuesday night. Denise Bailey said she noticed 2 men sitting in the vestibule of Short Pump Walmart Superstore with a gutted deer and a shopping cart that was dripping blood on the floor.
Oh, are you serious?
Yes. A Walmart spokesperson did not know why the men rolled the deer into Walmart, but made it clear that the carcass never made it into the shopping area of the store. Both men were ejected from the store without incident. Lee Walker with the Virginia Department of Game and Inland Fishing said, "It appears they were just trying to get their deer checked at an approved check station. However, Walmart is not an approved check station." So there really is no reason of why. They must have been drunk and I don't know.
There's no end to stupidity.
I don't know. I just don't know.
Oh, my God.
Okay. Fast food worker accused of smearing menstrual blood on hamburger.
That's false.
That's true.
Oh, God.
It's true. Wait till you hear this story. I actually went on the Facebook page, and I feel bad for this, but you got to hear this whole story. So a fast food employee in Columbus, Mississippi faces a felony charge after she smeared spit and menstrual blood on a customer's burger. Sky Juliet Samuel, 18, surrendered to police Monday morning on an arrest warrant charging with her intentionally serving contaminated food at Jack's restaurant on January 7th. She faces up to 5 years if convicted. A teen coworker told her mother she saw Samuel smear blood and saliva on a cheeseburger, which was handed to a customer waiting at the drive-thru window. The witness's mother said the following on Facebook, and it's there on Facebook if you wanted to go Google this and find it. "My daughter saw another worker put her period blood and lick cheese that went onto a customer's burger. My daughter told the assistant manager that was on duty, and the assistant manager still brought the food to the customer. We called the store to try to talk to the general manager, and they wouldn't give her the numbers to get a hold of the manager. We then called the corporate, who again did nothing. They called my daughter in on Tuesday. This is at Jack's. They called her into the office and told her she had to resign or quit. When asked why, they said because she made false reports." Can you believe this? So if you go to the Facebook page, they've also posted a recording of the conversation that happened within the restaurant of this alleged person putting this blood. So she has evidence. So this poor girl got fired from her job from this. A Tupelo woman who claimed to have been given the tainted burger contacted Columbus police later on January 10th. Jack's CEO Todd Bartmass said in a statement that the teen who brought the allegation to light was fired for an unrelated reason. Yeah, right. Samuel and other workers were terminated for violating company policies that were unrelated to the allegations of food tampering. 2 other employees on duty at the time of the alleged incident were put on leave pending an investigation. The restaurant surveillance footage has been turned over for investigation. State Health Department officials inspected the restaurant and determined it was safe. No further information is available at press time.
Please tell me she didn't bite into this burger.
I'm assuming she ate the burger.
Oh, come on.
She came back January 10th. Listen, you get a burger and not eat it? She ate the burger.
Oh.
She ate the burger.
Well, you just said she surrendered it to the police.
No. She contacted them on January 10th, the person who received the burger. A Tupelo woman who claimed to have been given the tainted burger contacted Columbus police on January 10th. I'm assuming she ate the burger.
I'm going to be sick.
Yeah. So.
This is why, and I tell people all the time,
don't go to the drive-thru.
That, and also don't piss the people off making your food.
Yeah.
And if you don't understand and you need a visual picture, I strongly recommend the movie Waiting.
Oh, yes. Yes. The first one. The second one was
The original movie Waiting. Watch that, and you will never complain to your hostess or your waitress or your bartender ever again.
Yes.
I promise you.
I never send food back. Never. All right, moving on. True or false? U.S. Marshal arrests passenger for smelly farts.
False.
You're right. That's false. I made it up. Police seized $20 million from mattress in Massachusetts apartment.
That's true.
That is true.
Yeah, I heard that somewhere.
Oh, okay. Well, that's probably why. A judge on Monday ordered 28-year-old Kleber Rene Rosero Rocha be held without bail, ruling him a flight risk and holding him on a charge of conspiracy to commit money laundering after police discovered $20 million in cash hidden inside a box spring in a Massachusetts apartment. Rocha was arrested this month when the money was discovered in his Westboro apartment. Prosecutors say he was part of a scheme to transfer millions of dollars to Brazil by laundering the cash through Hong Kong. The money was from Telex Free, a defunct internet phone company authorities say was a massive pyramid scheme. So $20 million, what more? Why was he keeping it there? Go spend this stuff, man. If I got $20 million and I got to, report it to some, like if I got a boss, and I'm in this pyramid scheme and I got $20 million and I got to get it back to them, I'm taking the $20 million and I'm running. I'm not giving it to them. That's $20 million. You can get lost and never found again with $20 million. All right.
Plus, if you're laundering, wouldn't it be just easy to throw it in the washing machine?
No, because it shrinks.
I see.
Yeah.
And then it's only worth
$10 million. And then every once in a while you lose a $100 bill here or there,
Oh.
Husband claims bad dream made him try to kill his wife.
True.
You are correct. That is true. This was your best so far. You only got one wrong. You are improving.
Because that was disgusting. That's why. You're disgusting.
I'm worried about next week. I know. Where do you find these? Pennsylvania man who claimed to be in the throes of a nightmare about his wife cheating on him suddenly rose from the bed and began a fierce attack on the woman and their teenage daughter, strangling both, police said. Conrad Rudalavage, 49, is scheduled to appear in court in Northeast Pennsylvania on Wednesday on attempted murder charges. His wife was badly hurt in the attack, police said. She told investigators her husband had been drinking and then fell asleep and arose in a bad dream about her being unfaithful. He remained convinced the dream was real and told her, I love you. Now I'm going to kill you, quote, unquote. She tried to get away. She ran outside. She grabbed the keys to her car, went out to the garage. At that time, their 17-year-old daughter was coming home, and she heard her father scream, quote, unquote, fuck you, bitch, I'm going to kill you. The girl called 911, but before she could, her father choked her, smashed her cell phone, police said. When she broke free, he returned to the attacking wife. The criminal complaint alleges, blah, blah, blah. Neighbors eventually broke up this
okay, well,
dream.
First of all, I can buy the part where he suddenly wakes up confused by a dream and lunges or attacks to his wife. But when you carry it this long,
Yeah, when you continue it going.
yeah, folks, he's a Fruit Loop. That's what he is, and he's just trying to get off on a mental technicality.
All right, so I'm impressed with you. Your skills are improving. Let's see if you can get a win next week on True or False. What do you think? You can do your homework?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
It's time to dig deep. That only means one thing. It's time for questions from my side.
Okay. Digging deep. All right. I was watching last night on television. I was watching some show, and I kid you not, they had a question about, is a hot dog really a sandwich? I swear to God. And I was laughing my ass off about it.
Did you call our lawyer?
No, I didn't.
We're suing.
Yeah. Which way is the proper way to put out my toilet paper? I'm assuming they mean on the roll, right?
That's an interesting question because I have a pet peeve about that.
Yes.
I want it coming off the top.
Yes, so it's
not coming off the bottom.
I agree. Yes, that is the correct way.
Yeah,
and so shall it be.
Because the other way, you pull it and then it doesn't break,
Right.
and the thing goes zing.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yes. Okay.
How come we always end up in the bathroom at some point of the show?
It's because of you.
Why me?
It's
See,
you.
I'm blamed again.
It's you. It's all your fault.
Oh.
It's always your fault.
Oh, I forgot.
All right. So next one is, why did you start a podcast? Because we're cheap and didn't have enough money to have our own radio show.
Because
no one would hire us.
Because we had nothing better to do at our time.
And the last one for today is...
Actually, wait, hold on.
Oh, yeah?
No. That's not why we started the podcast.
That's not?
Folks, the reason we started the podcast is so Dennis could hear Dennis Fountain 500 times a week.
Listen, for the umpteenth billion time, not one single time does it say Dennis Fountain. The only time it says Dennis Fountain is when Sonny says Dennis Fountain. All right? So this one's right up our alley. Who shot first, Han or Guido?
Han shot first.
Absolutely.
And then they edited it. Oh, I could have. Somebody should have got their nuts kicked in for that.
Yeah, I know. All right, so moving right along, we're zipping along this episode. It's time for
Sonny's Pet Peeve
of the Week.
What is annoying you this week?
This one you're going to agree with, and I think it needs to be addressed. I am tired, so tired of investing a lot of time into watching a television series, only to get to the end and find out it's just canceled. Yeah, we're done.
Yes.
Leaving us either in a plot hang-up or a very rushed conclusion. Or
you must be watching Fox shows.
Yeah, they're great for that. But no, I came up with the solution for this.
Okay, you have a solution.
The solution is this. When you're going to start a series, everybody, include in the contract that you have to provide a 2-hour movie finale.
A wrap-up.
A wrap-up
Some
movie.
way to wrap it up.
So if you cancel it after a year, okay, the following year it would debut again, would be the finale.
Yeah.
That way everybody gets closure. It's just not right to have people invest their time into a show and then not give them that finale. The reason I bring this up, and this is a spoiler alert about Castle, so if you're watching Castle and never saw the end, don't listen. The very end of Castle, did you see it?
No. Go ahead, tell me.
They bring down this whole thing that they've been, this big political ring.
Yeah.
They finally bring this all down, and you think it's finally over, and the very end of the scene, there's a guy in their apartment. He comes out and he shoots both Beckett and he shoots Castle.
Really?
They're both laying on the floor, bleeding out, holding each other. He crawls over to her, and they're both holding each other. And it was supposed to be the
season finale. Cliffhanger. Yeah.
But they decided that's it, we're done. So you know what they did? As soon as that scene's done, it fades to black and then fades up and says 7 months later, and they show Castle and they show Beckett putting dinner on the table for 3 kids.
So they have 3 children?
That's it. And that was the end of it.
Yeah,
just to show you, okay, they didn't die on the floor. They must have got rescued, and this is what we're going to give you. No wrap up to the other characters, the sub characters, the other 2 detectives who I love in that show.
Yeah.
Nothing. And that serial killer, they had left that wide open. They never finished that off.
That's bad.
Well, yeah, but this really pisses me off, and this is not the first time this happens.
Yeah, but I don't know how could they do that though, because the reason a show gets canceled is because nobody watches it anymore.
But if you have it in the original contract that this has to be done, at least the people who are watching it are going to at least get close.
Well, I like the idea. I'm not saying I don't, but I think that's a great idea. I just can't see how they're going to make that happen. Because the reason they cancel is because nobody watches it.
It's because there's too many shows.
Well, I do agree with that. There's too many shows
right
on
now,
television.
It is absolutely impossible for you to watch every show that's out there.
Yeah.
You have to make your choices now. There's no question about it.
And that's why I give it, like 3 or 4 episodes, and then I say screw it because it's not worth. There's so many things to choose from. Well, that's the other thing. I was looking. I just got the new DirecTV Genie receiver, and I can record up to 5 shows at once. And I'm going, what moron would ever record 5 shows at once? The most I've ever done was 4. But I said, all right, maybe someone off 5 shows at once. And now I find out that Dish Network has the hopper with 16 shows at once. Who watches 16 shows at the same time? That's asinine. It's just incredible. So I agree with you. I think I like the idea. I just don't know. I don't think it would ever happen. I can't find that feasibly happening. All right. Any final thoughts for this episode?
Final thoughts.
No, you don't have any.
I can't think any.
All right. Reminding everyone to like us on Facebook.com/Fountain of Thought. Tweet us at TalkFOT or email us at TalkFOT@gmail.com. And Sonny, remember, be a fountain, not a drain.